the Forbidden Army to the village quickly. He knows that Licia will arrive later than them, but they would have rescued some people and reduced the death toll. Kazuya makes use of a giant ox to drag the chariot and transport them to the elven village. They soon arrive at the village and are welcomed by Aisha's father, Woden, who is also the village chief. Woden explains the situation to the king. He says they already have over 100 citizens dead already. Most are still missing and unaccounted for. Kazuya urges his detail to get on a search and rescue mission immediately. He also transfers his consciousness into a mouse carved from wood. The wooden mouse helps to locate trapped elves so that they can be rescued. Soon afterward, all the missing are accounted for, and most of them are already dead before they are found. However, Woden thanks Kazuya that if he hadn't rushed over to help them, the number of deaths would have been far greater. Woden's brother, Robthor, breaks down in tears and starts blaming the forest, but his brother cautions. It is revealed that Robthor's wife died in the landslide, and his daughter is also in a coma. Woden urges him to mourn his wife and pray for his daughter to return to the land of the living. Later on, Aisha says the landslide might have happened because they didn't thin the forest, but Kazuya says the possibility is low. However, this doesn't stop them from thinning the forest now that the disaster has occurred. This is to prevent further disasters in the future. Kazuya adds that humans cannot control nature, but we can only try our best to keep it in a position that suits us. While returning back to the capital, Kazuya laments inside the carriage. He says the disaster was his fault. A ruler's job is to prevent disasters like this, and he failed. He points out that he had been so focused on the food shortage that he didn't bother to take a look at other sectors. Kazuya plans to position medical reliefs in all corners of the kingdom in case of something like this. The medics would come in handy and help to rescue people a lot faster. Up next, Juna receives information that Kazuya is not getting enough sleep and decides to visit him in his chamber. Kazuya accepts that he is tired and exhausted but can't sleep because there are still lots of things that he needs to attend to. Juna makes him lie on the bed and pets him to sleep. As he sleeps, Juna assures him that she will always be there to conceal his weakness. Elsewhere, Carmine, Walter, and Vargas are having a meeting about whether to support the king or not. Carmine puts it out that he will never support Kazuya because he has the belief that he is not up to the task of ruling the kingdom. He adds that Kazuya must have tricked Albert into abdicating the throne for him. Walter tries to talk sense into the other two dukes that the neighboring countries might use this to invade their land. Carmine is angry that since Kazuya came to power, he has gotten rid of all the corrupt ministers and officials. Carmine is confident that once they have the support of such officials, they are bound to win against Kazuya. Castor Vargas also supports Carmine and reveals his interest in getting Kazuya off the throne and reinstating Albert. Castor's daughter, Carla, enters the room and reveals that she is ready to support any decision her father makes. She believes that her friend, Licia, is also under Kazuya's spell. Now, in the capital of Amadonia, known as Van, their ruler, Gaius, has gotten reports that Carmine is ready to take a stand against the king. This excites him and puts out his plan to invade once the civil war starts. He has plans to reclaim the land that he says once belonged to Amadonia. He also mocks Carmine for getting old because he should have seen through his plan if he was still in his prime. On the other hand, Gaius's daughter, Roroa, has no interest in politics or anything that goes on in the kingdom. However, she secretly keeps a tab on each kingdom to know their weaknesses and strengths. Soon afterward, Hakuya gives Kazuya the report that they should be expecting a good harvest this year. This will reduce the shortage of food in the kingdom. Back in Amadonia, Gaius has already assembled his army and is preparing to march against Elfrieden. Their first target is the border town, Altamura. Amadonia's finance minister, Colbert, shows up to the throne room and begs Gaius not to go to war just yet. He claims that the war will result in a shortage of food, and this might affect the economy. Colbert also adds that Gaius should not forget the treaty the countries signed when the demons attacked. It has been put in writing that no country should go to war against each other until they have successfully defeated the demon lord. The treaty is known as the Mankind Declaration. Gaius points out that Kazuya did not sign the treaty when he came into power, and as such he gets a free pass into attacking Elfrieden. Gaius Colbert up and sends him out of the throne room. Before sending him away, Gaius lets him know that he is fired already. After leaving the palace, Roroa finds Colbert and asks him to follow her because they have things to attend to. Up next, Kazuya calls a meeting with the two dukes. He asks for their support, and Walter agrees to stand with him. However, Carmine and Castor refuse and say they are ready to go to war with the king. Kazuya reveals his plan to centralize the military because other countries might want to exploit them, but this makes the two dukes even more angry. Seeing that the other two are not ready to support him, Kazuya declares war on them too. He reveals that he will take their forces under his commands once he defeats them, and the dukes accept. After Castor and Carmine have left the meeting, It is revealed that Juna is Walter's granddaughter, and she was the one who convinced Walter into supporting Kazuya. Kazuya assures her that the new city he is building will not affect Lagoon City. Lagoon City will still be the kingdom's naval port. Veneta Nova will be just a distribution center and a tourist attraction center. Soon afterward, reports soon reach Kazuya that Gaius has mobilized his army of 30,000 and has started to march against Elfrieden. Gaius and his army make it to Altamura, but one of the town's representatives, West, comes outside to meet Gaius. He begs Gaius not to invade the town just yet and gives him little time to convince everyone in the town to surrender. He says there is still division in the town whether to surrender or not. Gaius' son, Julius, lets his father know that it will be best for the town to surrender on their own. This will prevent casualties on their front and preserve the full strength of their army. Gaius agrees to this and gives the representative time to convince his kinsman. On the other hand, the Forbidden Army has erected a fort close to Carmine's territory and is engaging Carmine's army. The army brings out cannon to break down the fort, but an elf, Sur, arrives to provide support. He reveals that he has come to show his gratitude for the help they rendered when his people suffered because of the landslide. Sur helps to take care of the cannons, and this gives the Royal Guard the chance to advance and defeat the army outside the fort. When Carmine and the corrupt ministers hear about their defeat at the fort, they are devastated, but Cremine assures the officials and ministers that they will still turn out victorious in the war because their army of 40,000 surpasses the Forbidden Army of 10,000. Later on, Gaius and his army are about to attack Altamura when the representative shows up again. He begs for more time and drops some piles of gold bricks and gold dust in the meantime. He tells Gaius to attack the town if he doesn't hear from him when it is noon the next day. Gaius accepts the offer and says the stronghold will be taken by force the next day if they have not surrendered. Upon returning to the stronghold, it is revealed that Weist is actually working for Walter. Walter provided the gold used in negotiation. Weist says the gold could have been used to hire mercenaries, but Walter says mercenaries are quick to switch sides. Walter says all they need to do is delay the invasion till Kazuya is done with his plan. Now at the